Hey guys, welcome back to another exciting episode of Rideshare Etiquette. And I'm your host JJ, and I'll be with you for a little bit. And thank you for coming and finding me here. Thank you for listening. If this is your first time here, thank you and welcome. And if you are a repeat listener, thank you. I appreciate it and welcome back. Let me give you a brief rundown of why I feel I can't call myself an expert, but I feel that I can talk about rideshare etiquette. So, November 2015, the latter part of November, I started driving for Uber. Middle of January 2016, I started driving for Lyft. I had been driving for Lyft for 3 years, for Uber for 3.5 years. Middle of November 2018, I made the decision to go on a break from Uber. Why, do you ask? Well, let me tell you. I have been frequently asked by many of my passengers, whether it's Lyft or Uber, which do I prefer driving for? Do I prefer driving for Lyft? Do I prefer driving for Uber? And at that time, in November of 2018, I had completed 4,600 rides plus driving for Uber. And as far as Lyft goes, I had less than 150 rides completed. And so I really couldn't give you an informative and knowledgeable answer as to who do I think was better as far as the rideshare platform. That's when I decided, okay, let's solely focus on driving for Lyft so that I can, see the good, the bad, the ugly, and compare the two between Lyft and Uber. So now we come to 2019, and I am doing podcasts to impart a little bit of info towards you as the driver and towards you as a passenger. And it's something I've encountered throughout driving for Lyft and Uber, and some other drivers I've spoken with. Yes, they as well. In fact, I met a driver the other day who we were just kind of, casually chatting while waiting for rides about our experience driving for Lyft and Uber and that sort of thing. It's etiquette. Overall, it's manners. It's how people present themselves to the world, whether you're a driver, whether you're a passenger. And in some areas, people, when their parents taught them those lessons, they learned very well at their mother's knee, and others is like, oh my God, were you raised in a barn by feral cats? You have no couth, no decorum whatsoever. Your general knowledge of good manners is non-existent. So I just, want to, and this goes with drivers too, it's not just passengers, it's both sides of that front seat. I just wanted to impart basic good etiquette and how it applies to that rideshare experience. And it goes to the community guidelines of Uber and Lyft. Now we're going to segue into ratings, drivers and passengers, and how it affects their ability to get rides on both rideshare platforms. And for me personally, I was a little, I got some anxiety over this. I don't know how else to put it. For the longest time, and I want to say for at least 3.5 months, my rating overall was 5 stars. And when I would go into my dashboard, and actually I was, by accident, I went to my dashboard, driver's dashboard, to find out what my Accelerate rewards were as far as the platinum level for drivers and how many more rides I needed to complete. Yeah, I wanted to know how close I was. And I noticed that instead of it being 5.00, which it had been for a long time, like I said, the last 3 months, approximately 3 months, I was 4.98. And I'm like, wait, what? And I'm thinking 4.98. So it still shows me 5 stars, okay? But I wanted it to be 5.00 and 5 stars. Overall, I wanted them both to match just because it was a reaffirmation and a confirmation to me personally as a driver. I was doing everything right. I was a good driver. I still am. However, when I received my driver's summary from Lyft and I'm looking through the rated rides, and lo and behold, there it was. And of course, some words were uttered towards the person who gave me this rating. There was that 4 star. And I'm like, WTF, okay? WTH. Why? And of course, I started agonizing as to why I received the low rating, trying to think back who it could have been, red flags, the whole 9 yards, and I was coming up empty-handed. I was actually hurting my brain. It was like, oh, you're too focused on this. Now, I've had passengers in the car who tell me ratings, schmatings, they don't care about ratings. I've read articles by other drivers who have blogs who basically say ratings are overrated. Me, like I said, as a driver, it's just an affirmation and a reaffirmation that well done. It's a job well done, basically. Now, passengers, be aware that according to Lyft and Uber, when you tell them this driver is not a 5-star driver, this ride was not a 5-star ride, you're basically telling Lyft and Uber, this driver stinks. And you're like, wait, what? 4 stars is good. No, 4 stars is not good. 4 stars is fail. Fail, 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 fail. And the face just becomes more increasingly worse the lower down the scale you go. 4 is 3, 2, 1. Basically, a 1 is telling Lyft and Uber the driver sucks. 4 basically is saying this driver, they failed. They weren't 5 stars, they're 4 stars. Now, it also can be where the person's intentions were good. They were, they wanted this person, this driver, to receive a good rating. And in their mind, 4 stars is a good rating. No, it's not. 4 stars is a fail. The best way to put it, I read an article by another Uber driver who had in his car posted explaining the rating systems as far as how the passengers rate their drivers. And he put it in his words. It wasn't Lyft or Uber's words. 5 stars is like, great, wonderful, fantastic. 4 stars, he basically put his, you are sending a message as a passenger to Uber to kill this passenger, or not kill this, to fire this driver slowly. And of course, it got incredibly worse, the messages that the passenger was sending to Uber as far as the lower ratings, to the point where he just basically is putting down, you as a passenger think this driver sucks and Uber needs to know about it. And that's the 1 star. Me personally, you don't like something about me as a person, you don't like something about my drive, or you just felt the ride itself wasn't 4 stars, or you're just being incredibly, snarky, fill in the words, I mean, all these expletives are coming into my head. I just don't want to use them. Don't rate your driver at all. Just move on. Don't even bother rating. Now, on the other hand, if you feel that driver was a great experience, it's 5 stars. It's 5 stars or nothing. There is no, it was good, but it wasn't great rating. It's 5 stars or nothing. 4 stars is basically, you're killing me softly now. You are putting a nail in my coffin. And as you continually go down that rating scale, 3 you're putting another nail in my coffin, and 2 putting, you're lowering me into the ground, and 1 basically is you're throwing dirt on my coffin, so you've buried me. And just be aware, this affects passengers too. Yes, yes, yes. We as drivers rate passengers. And a lot of passengers sometimes are unaware that the driver can rate the passenger. And I've had some really great experiences where I'm telling my passenger, I'm giving you 5 stars. It was great. I'm rewarding you with 5 stars. I'm like, oh, thank you. It's great. I'm giving you 5 stars too. And it's nice to hear it on both ends. I'm not fishing for that passenger to tell me they're giving me 5 stars. I am letting that passenger know you were great. I enjoyed the ride. I would love to have you as a passenger again. And it's nice to hear that, get that praise right then and there, you know. So be aware this works on both ends of that front seat. And remember too, passengers, Uber is going through their system and looking for those passengers who are consistently rated low by drivers, and will start telling them, you know, hey, you've got to pull up your socks or you're going to be removed from the platform. You will no longer be able to access Uber. And I really hope Lyft starts doing that. And just be aware on both ends of that front seat. Once again, it's about etiquette. It's about following community guidelines. Being very polite and wonderful in the car, whether you're a driver or whether you're a passenger. And sometimes it's hard to read because, you know, you never know how it's going to go with the passenger. Each ride is different because your passenger is different, individual, unique. You don't know. You think it might be great, and the passenger's like, yeah, there's something about this guy I didn't like. There are some things as a driver we can control that passengers rate us on that will affect our ratings, and other things that are completely out of our control. And once again, passengers, if you think 4 stars is a good rating, it's not. 5 stars is fantastic. 4 stars and below is basically you're just saying this driver needs to go. This driver should not be driving for Lyft and Uber. And once again, it affects passengers as well. 5 stars, I want this passenger again. 4 stars, why does this passenger have access to this app? They acted like a complete and utter heathen in my vehicle. And yes, it's happened on many, many occasions where I've had heathens in the backseat of my car, whether they are male, female, old or young, whether they come from money, whether they haven't any money, whether you're Christian, whether you're non-Christian. They've all had a common ground. They've all acted like a heathen. Please don't be that heathen. And drivers, please don't be that heathen either. I've heard passengers tell me stuff that their drivers will say or do in the car that I'm just in utter shock. And I'm like, how can this person still be able to drive for Lyft and Uber? What are their ratings? So thank you once again for listening. I appreciate it. I hope this has been informative for you. You can find my podcasts on Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Castbox, and I'm just waiting on iHeartRadio. My podcasts are available for download on the iTunes Store. Please rate, comment, subscribe, like, follow. You know the drill. I appreciate you listening. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.